Hello, Sheena here. I thought it would be quite nice if you joined us in a little bit of a playing session here. So I'm at my friend Madi's house, and she was wondering about the new 3D embossing folders and what you can do with them, and different techniques, and the sandwich with the Gemini. And so what we're doing is we're having a good old little crafting session around the dining room table, and I thought it would be nice for you to kind of join in, to kind of be there in a virtual sense. Obviously not physically, because by the time you see this it will be in the past. But I thought it would just be a nice little change for the usual instruction DVDs and things. So yeah, let's have a laugh and have a bit of crafting. Okay, so we're going to start playing with Madi here. Say hello, Madi.
Hi.
And Jade. Say hi, Jade.
Hi.
So we're going to be playing with the folders, as I said. So Madi, I'm going to show you how to do the sandwich, all right?
Okay.
So you got your black card. So pop that in your folder. And what you're going to need is a specific sandwich with your Gemini, because the if you use the two outside plates like this, you would normally use too thick. Your Gemini will tell you. Okay. So you want that on the bottom with your magnetic,
Okay.
and then pop your folder. And I've found, here's another little tip, if you put it through that way first into the machine, you know where instead of the hinge side, that side, it actually feeds through easier, because I think the hinge is slightly thicker. So the Gemini sometimes thinks, oh, it's a bit thick, that bit, but this side it's happy with. So then if you pop that through the machine, and then we're all going to do that, and then we're going to regroup. So Madi, what I forgot to say is, if you've got like a coated card, you know, like the Miri card or something like that, and you want to have it embossed, if you put it in face up where you see the Sheena logo, then you'll know it's always going to be embossed rather than debossed.
Okay.
So that's cool.
Good tip.
Yeah, but with plain card, doesn't matter which way you do it, which is fab. And then you'll see how deeply that's embossed. So let me show you to the camera. Can you pick that up? Yes, I'm getting a nod from my camera woman. Yeah, all good. All right, fab. We shall move on.
And
It just grabs it. It's cool, isn't it?
It's like my laminator at work.
Yay!
A bit snazzy, isn't it?
Yeah, and pretty with the purple one. I'm guessing
Yeah.
the purple one, Madi.
Yeah.
Very
Lucky.
nice. I want that
Swell.
one. Bit jealous. Mine's white. Look at this. Rookie. Never used an embossing folder before.
No.
It's what I was saying on the telly. It's just how it's a leveler. Anybody can do it. Just
Yeah.
put it in the thing.
There we go.
Right then, ladies. So what we need to do is we need to pick out some colours from, and what we're using here are the colour tint pencils. So we've used water-based, like watercolour pencils before. They work exactly the same, but the difference is that they've got ground graphite in them, which makes the palette look really muted. Or they actually show up on black card, where a lot of colouring products won't. So, but not all of them look as good as some of the others. You need ones that are really quite strong in the pigment, because we're going to put some gilding wax over the top.
Lovely.
So what I've been doing is just scribbling on your scrap bit of card when you your offcuts and whatever, and then find colours that really show up, because you can see the blueberry really does have that reflection to it. Some of the greens, one of the greens looks kind of like more like just muted, not very greeny. You want the ones that are much stronger, because then we're going to layer them with the gilding wax. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to get your 3D folder, and I'm going to start, and then you can continue. So get one of the blues and then scribble onto your petals like this, not too hard, because they're really embossed, aren't they? Or we don't want to flatten them again. And that, again, this is good because these pencils are really soft core. So if you do these with a not a great quality one, you'll be etching into it and having to press down too hard. Whereas these, because it'll just release the colour really easily, you're not losing the detail you've already put into the card. So scribbling towards the centre. You're using more than you normally would on a white piece of card, because you're needing it a bit more. You have to layer it on thick so you can see it on the black. So can you see how we've got that blue showing? I'll show that to the camera there. Got that? And then you can go around and do the same with the green. So it doesn't look amazingly impressive yet, but this is just the first coat, and it doesn't have to be It's like the kids at school, Jade. I mean, if they were colouring in like this, they'd be talked about in the playground, wouldn't it? It'd be like, well, she needs to improve her colouring in skills. Yeah, seriously. But as adults, we're fine. We can do it like that. And it can look rubbish because we know the next stage is going to just be using a bit of water and we'll be fine. So I'll pop a little bit. I've got a leaf there. Yeah, if I haven't, you know what, it's artistic license, I'm popping one in there. So can you see how we're going around there? Just colouring that in.
Yep.
Doesn't have to be any fancier than that. We could, I might put a little bit of the this yellowy. There's a one called Maize, which is a bit of a yellowy kind of tone, kind of tint. I'll just pop a little bit because with anemones they're all black in the middle anyway, aren't they? So you're going to go around, pick out the flowers. There's a few flowers. There's 3 flowers dotted. Any leaves, and give them the same treatment. And then with a brush. With your round brush, number 6 round, wet it, take off most of the moisture, and then just go around and just spread that colour across the leaf or petal, whatever it is, and it just smooths it out a little bit. If it's a little bit scratchy or patchy, it'll just spread that pigment out. On white card, obviously, it really makes the colours pop, but on the black card, it's just really about getting that undercoat on there for the wax, but as evenly as possible. So you don't have to labour it too much, just splodge it on like that and it'll all be good.
So you're actually using circular motions then?
Yeah, just a little bit of a round circular motion and get that, yeah. I mean, you can go kind of linear like this and drag it out and things if you want to emphasise the veins and the petals, but just for speed, it's not like this is the final stage, whereas if we were doing this on white card, you'd really spend a little bit more time and be a little bit more careful about it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. This is just really to put kind of like an undercoat where we're going to put wax shortly that will kind of make it look like it's a tinted wax. So can you see how that's shown up on the card? That's the mission. We're going to pick out all those elements, but not cover every bit of the card with that, just the leaves and the flowers. And then we're going to regroup again. Does that work? Looking good. Come on. Do you what you're saying about the pressure? You don't need to. It's surprising. No, it's surprising how little pressure you need, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can
it
either
really
go like
shows up how deep the embossing is as well.
Yeah, really see the edges. So if you you can either use like circles, as we said before, or lines, but you're just really getting the colour down on the petal. It doesn't have to be, super refined or anything at this stage, because it's literally just an undercoat. And the colour, I think I've picked 2 colours out. Which ones did I give you, Maddie? Ocean. And what have you got, Jade?
I've got blueberry.
Ocean and blueberry. Both those blues show up really well on the black card. And then the greens I've got, Maddie's got grass green, and have you got?
I've got leaf green.
Leaf green.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, so they'll show up well as well. And the rest of it we'll do with Renaissance, which is this coppery colour.
Yeah.
And then what we could do, we'll do the back, all of it Renaissance, but again, very, very light touch. But you'll see there's chains in here, there's all kinds that you don't even see immediately until you get some gilding wax. Look at that, it's like magic,
it really
isn't it?
brings it out.
Really makes them pop, yeah. And then what we can do is go back and pick some of the chains up with that gold again if you want. But I would say keep this really just the one colour to start with. You can change your mind later if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you can just layer it up, but look, all that detail.
That's lovely.
Yeah. And absolutely, whenever we teach you some workshops, you always say use the smallest amount you can, use the tiniest amount, and then people still tend to use too much the first time. So that just might happen, just saying. But the fact that I'm sitting here going to be staring you down would probably help you remember.
Yes.
Just saying.
She sat right close.
That intimidating, I mean supportive presence I have.
Encouraging.
Yeah, encouraging. That would be the other word. Thank you. There you go. Right, so that's what we're aiming for, ladies. That's what you're doing there.
Yep.
Right, you're gonna have to play with that. But then you're gonna leave it for about 5-10 minutes, and then we're gonna polish it. It's gonna look even better. Yeah, like you do.
But they're lovely.
Yeah,
Lovely and soft.
yeah,
It's really easy to use.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's just the secret to the success is use as little as you can.
Well, you're right, because I'm going over
Yeah.
little bits that I've not put very much on, and I'm now adding a little bit more.
So you can build it up. Yeah,
just
much better. Yeah. If you put the glue, if it gets gloopy, there's nothing really you can do.
no, and it
with
hasn't
the
got gloopy. I've just added a little bit more
yeah,
there.
lovely. So put less on, and then you can always build it up a bit if you want.
That one,
Just a bit of dry cloth, like a bit of kitchen paper. Like you see, the silver seems to take longer to set. So if you see it's coming off of the cloth, you haven't left it long enough. Yeah, you'll get a little bit come off there, but can you feel it gets smoother?
Yes.
Yeah, and it kind of burnishes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It bonds the metal to the surface as well, and it's incredible how shiny it gets when you do that. So Jade, what we're going to do is we're going to stick your wonderful masterpiece to a piece of backing cord. What we're calling matting and layering this, so it just brings your eye to the centre. And I've cut it so there's not much around the edge. I think with coated cards like mirror cords and this satin mirror cord, if there's too much, it can take away from the actual thing you've just created. You know, it looks kind of overpowering. So my favourite way to stick these together is using the tape runners. These are Crafter's Companion. So how they work is you've got a little roller thing, so the things inside.
Yeah.
So all you do is you press down, and if you give it a little flick when you come up, it kind of keeps the edges nice and neat. And just go around the outside. Don't worry if it's not straight, because mine's hardly ever straight. And then what you should do is go around the outside, and then I'll normally do maybe 3 like that in the middle. That's all you need to get that. Oh, hello, come on, tape runner. There you go. To get that enough. So it's really, really tough stuff, this. Now, when you're doing this, when you're matting and layering, I normally stand over, because I'm looking at an angle here. So I would normally stand up and look directly down on what I'm doing, especially when you haven't got much of a border to play with, because you can't really correct it. If it goes a bit wonky, there's not much wiggle room to sort it out. So looking straight down when you stick that down is much easier. Oops, sorry, Madi. So can I just say that this is Jade, who a school teacher, but absolute rookie with actual crafting. Hasn't crafted it all, but look at how fabulous that is. So this is why I wanted to do this, because you see me do it all the time and say, oh yeah, you can do it too. But that's using pretty advanced techniques, 3D folders, the colour tint pencils underneath, and then gilding waxes to use it in a shaded kind of like bit of an arty fashion. I think that looks fabulous. Bit of ribbon on there, and your greeting, and that's the card done. Backed on maybe an A5 card, sorted. Right, ready for a new technique, ladies?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Absolute 100% success with the last one, gotta say. You didn't make me look bad. So this one we're doing with this really pretty blossom with the clock. This is the one here we're doing. And this, we're going to use some antique linen distress ink. I'll show the other person, everyone out there. That's what we're going to use, yeah. And so what you're going to do is check out your folders and look for the inny bit, not the outy bit. Because what you could do, some people may have made this mistake, of course may never, where you would ink the wrong bit. And you notice how they really want to speak now, but being kind, they're not, because I've just done that. I put it on the wrong side and it looked rubbish. So make sure you put it on the flat side where you've got the indents into it, because if you want the background coloured, that's what you need to do. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the ink pad and just circular motions like this across the back of the across the folder, and then I'm going to take my Sheena stamping card. It could be watercolour card, that's good too. And I'm going to pop it in the folder. Look at this, I love this, you know, seriously. Well, like one project in and now it's like total teamwork. Oh, I tell you.
Pass it on.
Straight on there. Machine switched on by,
Sheena side
Crafter
first.
1, yeah. And then Crafter 2 has got the sandwich ready.
Yeah.
Total
Pass
little
it
production
in.
like that. Pass it in, pop it in there. Smooth.
And then
Jade,
Jade,
this,
take it
Jade's
out.
got it there, she's on it. There. Fabulous, thank you ladies. And then behold, this is the first stage. Oh, ta ta ta. So now we've got a really shabby chic look where we've got the, you see now that would be a nice wedding card as well. You could have that pale blue, whatever your bridesmaids, we're just talking to Jade because it's kind of imminent, isn't it, Pebble? Yes. Yeah, we're talking about wedding invitations. But that's a good thing, because if we're talking about batch making, this background could be pink, blue, whatever the very
make it match.
palest, and then with your little bit of accent ribbon or something, it would look fab, wouldn't it? It would look really pretty. But we're going to take it further. But that there is what we've got, and that's what the ladies are going to do now. And then we're going to regroup and do some more. Perfect.
Slightly.
Yeah. And the bit with the Sheena on this one's the one that's the wrong side, so do it on the one that doesn't have Sheena on it if you want to use that particular folder. Fabulous. Lovely. And then when you put that in, make sure you don't move it. Once it's on, that's it. Leave it. Shut the little door. And then pop it in your sandwich, and in the machine.
There you go.
Fabulous.
I spot Maltesers.
Oh dear.
Oh yeah.
Who put them
Can't do crafting
Somebody's-
without Maltesers.
Oh, who's framing us and making us look bad?
Yeah.
It's not even as if we've just had chocolate cake and hidden the plates, is it? Okay, ready for the next step?
Yeah.
Lovely. All right, looking cool. Right, so what we're going to do is use some sparkle pens, and the set I think we should go for is the hot and spicy.
Okay.
All right, so this is one of the Sheena sets, the latest ones, and it's all warm colours and greens that are really pretty warm greens, but they're really strong colours. Look, see, really strong colours.
Nice.
Yeah, they're gorgeous,
They're
aren't they?
lovely.
But I'll show you. There you go. Strong colours. But we don't want to use them that strong. We're going to use that spiced cherry and green pickle. It's lovely. But not to that degree. We're going to just add lots of water to make it look more pastel. So if we take the spiced cherry, give them a shake before you use them every time. Now when you take the lids off, you pull the lids off, Jade. All right?
Okay.
Don't screw them off, because if you screw the lids off, this has happened in one workshop. It was very sad because the lady unscrewed the lid and then all the stuff fell out the pen. So don't do that. Remember, you only ever screw them on once, so always just pull the lids off. All right.
Okay.
And then give them a shake, and then splodge some. You don't need much at all, like that, onto your mat. You're going to use your ordinary, your round, like your number 6 paintbrush, and then we're going to add water to this. So just add a little bit on your mat first, just to really water that down quite a bit, right?
Yeah.
And then you don't want loads on your brush, so you can blot it a little bit so you'll have more control. And then what you can do is just start kind of towards the centre of the flower, put some colour on like this, quite quickly, wet your brush, take the colour away, and then you can just, like little circular motions, blend that colour out towards the edge of the petals, see? Just so that it's a much paler version. It's a little bit darker in the centre and paler around the outside. And if you have some flowers that are lighter than others and darker than others, that's alright as well, because it looks more kind of natural that way. And again, so a little bit, see in the middle? Yeah, got that too? Yeah?
Yeah.
And then dry the brush, blot it. You use hardly any water on your brush when you're actually doing these kind of watercolour techniques. It's surprising how dry you need the brush to get the paint moving and to dilute it. And that's going to be the secret of your success. If you've tried this before and it's run away from you and it hasn't, you're not been too happy with the results, it's usually because you've had the brush too wet and it started to run.
Right.
Whereas you'll see when you see there, so hardly any. Always have a bit of kitchen paper. Yeah, and before we start, you can get that set up. Do that. So blot it, dry it, and then just keep blotting the brush. You'll find it's much easier because I think this is it. It's the little things that if you've tried painting before and it hasn't been a great success, it's just these little tips that make a massive difference. Look at all that paint there that I haven't even touched yet. So it just shows how little you use. Loads left, yeah. And that's why you want the quality products, because they're so intense. You know, you've got loads of colour in them. So then, hence you use less of them. So it's the money. Yeah,
they're going to last for ages.
They last ages, yeah. But it's going to look really pretty. See,
It's going to look lovely, isn't it?
Isn't it?
It's going to be lovely.
Just to be honest, you wouldn't have to do the whole thing. If you wanted to just do that one part to half of the card and put your grease in there and leave some of it white, that would look good as well. You wouldn't have to do all of them. Let me show you what I'm thinking. See, you wouldn't have to do it all. You could leave some of it white in the background.
So that's gilding wax you're putting on there?
Yeah, king gold in the middle. Just to bring out the little stamens in the centre. Because there's all that detail there that it's still waiting to be highlighted. Look, see, pretty. Finishes off nicely, doesn't it?
Mm.
So there you go. This is the second project we've just completed, and we had jolly good fun doing it too, and eating chocolate. So we've got 3 of them, and what I was wanting you to look at is, see if you can guess. We've got one of these is mine. One of the other one is the crafters, and the other one is the absolute rookies, absolute newbies. So I'm going to show you through. So there's this one, looks lovely. This one I think is also lovely. Obviously they're not going to be carbon copies, because whenever you've got paint into the mix, you're going to get variables, and that's what we want. We don't want them to look exactly the same. Gorgeous. And super gorgeous. So I'm going to go through them again. Whoop. So this one here is Madeline's, who normally is more clean crafting, not messy crafting, but we've changed that in an evening. If you see her hands, you'll know exactly what I mean. So this is Madeline's. This one's mine. And this one here is Jade's. Jade, who has never crafted before. How amazing is that? Isn't that gorgeous? I actually think Jade is the best. Just showing us up, seriously.
Oh, thank
This
you.
might be the last time we do this. Thank you very much. Yeah, one and only. Because you made us look bad. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed that.